Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. Today is Monday, June 19th. And of course, every Monday, I update my official record from my picks in the morning show that I do at SBR Videos every morning at 10:30 Eastern Time. And we also take a look ahead to the upcoming series in baseball. Drew Martin is out of the office right now, but he is going to join us via Skype remotely. Drew Martin, thanks so much for doing this. Where the hell are you right now?
Man, Pete, I'm in an undisclosed location that I don't feel comfortable saying.
Really? I understand. Totally.
No, I'm just joking. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and going to check out the new stadium tomorrow, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The new stadium?
Yeah, SunTrust Park. Getting kind of excited about it. San Francisco Giants, Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, you know, that stadium, I have that stadium circled and pegged as a quite hitter-friendly park as of right now, Drew Martin.
Yeah, it's. I think it has a lot to do with the foul territory not being nearly as spacious as Turner Field was.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Minnesota's new stadium, which some people were guessing might be very pitcher-friendly when it first opened, but it has since proven to be a bit of a hitter-friendly park as well, right?
Yeah. It seems like it will be interesting to see if these numbers keep up.
Right.
Pete. I mean, the dimensions in that stadium, SunTrust Park, are pretty deep, and in the South it can get humid. So I don't know if it's going to keep up the way it has. But
yeah,
who knows? That's for a smarter guy than me.
Yeah, and of course they do. The markets adjust, and of course sometimes, as we've seen with Petco and with Seattle Stadium and all the Philly Stadium, with all those places, they make adjustments too as well. So it's possible that adjustments could come, and we will keep up with that year in and year out here at SBR Videos. All right, Drew Martin, let's take a look ahead to the upcoming. Well, first of all, in general, I'm kind of snake bit in MLB right now, and even Bronson Arroyo Day, which is usually just a free unit for my record, fell on a Sunday this week. So this past week. So I could have tweeted out a play, I guess, and added it to my record, but I didn't. But in general, I'm down a few units now in MLB. How are you feeling with MLB right now? Are you feeling like the lines are pretty tight? Like today, for instance, in Monday in the morning show, I only gave one play. It was a second half on Toronto. I felt like looking over the card, the lines were pretty tight. A lot of the big plays that I want to take are huge favorites. Like for instance, what's a huge favorite play today? Oh yeah, that's right. The Cubs, and a lot of this minus 140, minus 50 range plays are kind of where they should be right now.
Yeah, it's interesting, Pete. I mean, you said the Cubs, they're are already over minus $2.
Yeah.
And we also got the Dodgers
Yes.
with Kershaw on the hill, minus 300 against the Mets lineup. It's getting a little ridiculous. I think, just to take Kershaw, I guess we can get into that. Him at $3, I know he's at home, but his numbers, especially compared to last year, we talked about it on SportsBit, his K rate is down. His walks are more than double last year. Now he's laying $300. I think he's getting too pricey. I'm going to start looking to maybe go against him.
You think so? Because the Dodgers, though, have won 8 straight starts of his in a row, and they're 12-2 overall in his starts this year. So, the fair line on his starts so far this year should have been about minus 500, right?
I guess that's a good little stat you got there, Pete. I'm not gonna debate you on that.
Yeah.
I'm just minus 300. It just, man, you better not lose a couple of those, because that will damage your bankroll big time.
But still, if you expect the Dodgers to win 12 out of every 14 starts of his, then minus 300 is fine to pay.
Hey, it is what it is. I guess money management, that's what it's about.
All right. Well, I'll tell you some of the things that I've been looking at, Drew Martin. Oh, and one other way that I'm snake, but let's just laugh about this for a second. The Phillies, of course, are a terrible team, right? They've won only one game out of their last 12. They're 1-11 over their last 12. That one win was as a massive home dog against Chris Sale and the Boston, where they scored 1 run and wound up winning the game. And I had Boston 2 ways in that one, Drew Martin.
Ooh, that's so. Wait a minute. So you lost it, and that was the one game they won the last 12 games?
Yes.
Yeah, that one would hurt.
That one hurts. All right, but they are one of the series that I think is interesting coming up this week. They're at home against St. Louis, and St. Louis has been bad on the road. Philly, of course, bad at home. Both have been terrible in June. My sense, though, is that St. Louis they're a bad team. They don't have an edge against most teams, but I feel like they should have an edge here against Philly. And of course, they did play recently in St. Louis, and St. Louis swept them. Those are three of Philly's losses in their past 12 games. Feel like the Cards should have a bullpen edge, a lineup edge, a significant lineup edge, and even though the Cards have lost 5 out of their last 6, I'm feeling like St. Louis, this might be a series where they have an edge here at Philly. Of course, being on the road, the lines will not be big favorite lines here at all.
I couldn't agree with you more, Pete. I'm glad you're starting off with this one. And just looking at the Tuesday card, we got the Bet Online openers out now. Leak minus 140. I love it tomorrow. I'm likely going to be on the Cards. I haven't put it in yet. I'm going against Helix and going against Philly.
Right.
I agree with you. I think we get the better lineup, the better bullpen, and the better starting pitcher, and only having to pay a minus 140 price tag. I like that.
Right, and especially on Thursday, we'll see what the price is for the Cardinals on that day. But as far as the pitching matchups are concerned, that one's looking the most out of all the 3 games in St. Louis's favor. Martinez against Nola. Nola has definitely been having control problems. Martinez has fixed his control problems, and he's either lights out or just very good start in and start out now. So I'm wondering what that.
Pete, I know you've watched Philly pretty closely. What do you think of this guy Nola? Coming from LSU, he started off hot in the majors. What's going on with him? Is it a head case? Is he injured? What do you think?
I don't know whether he's injured or whether it's a mechanical issue, but he clearly is having problems with his command. And I don't, with a guy like that, there could be behind the scenes, information that will indicate at what exact point he's gonna turn a corner and be better that we are not privy to. But in general, until I see that he's fixed his problems, I'm going to assume that they're going to continue.
Yeah, I guess so. I haven't watched him as closely as I'd like, but I'll definitely be watching him closely in that game.
Yeah, and what do you think about this guy Pivetta who's starting on Wednesday? Because he was the fucking motherfucker who started against Chris Sale, who threw a shutout start and handed me that loss. Now he's at home against Wacha, and Wacha has definitely been getting hit. My assumption is that Pivetta is a guy who can get hit, and is in general going to be vulnerable against any major league lineup. He held down Boston in his last start. I don't know. What do you expect from him here?
Yeah, I mean, at first I was looking to go against him, but whenever you go up against an AL East line like Boston, one of the better lineups in all of baseball, and have a performance like he did, I don't know. I'm going to pump the brakes. I'm definitely not just fading away on him because he might have found something there with a little, mechanical change,
right.
or he's a young guy.
Yes.
And he has the stuff, so I'm just gonna watch from the sidelines with him, Pete.
All right, Drew Martin. Well, there's 4 other series that I'm gonna highlight, but before we get to that, what's caught your eye that you think is interesting to talk about?
All right, tonight we got the Pods and Cubs. I know you were mentioning the Cubs, but what about Clayton Richards' ground ball rate there in Wrigley tonight? Do you think that might be something to worry about if you're back in the Cubs?
If you're back in the Cubs, yeah. I mean, the thing is that the Cubs obviously crush lefties, right? And guys like Richard who throw a lot of there's high volatility with guys who pitch the way Richard pitches. So you see a lot of starts where he's like, either getting crushed, going 3 innings and giving up 8 runs, or throwing going 7 or 8 innings, giving up 1 run and doing it by throwing 90 pitches. And as far as I know, aside from betting into his volatility, it's a little hard to figure out when he's going to have a clunker and when he's not. It's basically if his sinker's working or not. And it's a tough one. I'm not going to bet it. I'm going to pass on it. If I had to, I'd probably take a shot with the Cubs on the run line because Lester's been pretty good, and I think that San Diego is fadeable right now. But Richard, it really is true. You just never know what you're going to get. My sense is there's a slightly better chance that he gets hit here than in some of his other starts. So I might bet into that. But who knows what's going to happen tonight? I think he probably gets hit, but I'm certainly not going to bet that opinion.
Yeah, just off of first glance, when I saw Clayton Richard, I'm not a big fan of him, but I did see that his ground ball rate's pretty high, so something in Wrigley Field that kept me off of that. Another one that I like, Amir Garrett. The talent is there, the velocity's there, big, tall lefty. And the market was on to him at first. I actually took a couple losses on him. And then his last time out, he pitches well. Yeah. Now he's going against Tampa Bay. I'm really dumbfounded on what to do with this guy. I think I'm going to back him again, Pete. And, I know he's on the road, a young guy, but if he can find it, this could be a buy low opportunity on him, and you get a plus 130 price tag with Cincy. But I haven't got there yet. That's just something I'm looking at. And also Chris Sale under minus 180 tomorrow night. That's very interesting. It's almost like they're begging you to bet on him because with that Boston lineup and Chris Sale outside of Fenway, that's when I really like to back him even more. So Boston's definitely going to be in my pocket for tomorrow.
Really? So you're liking Sale tomorrow? I mean, he probably is going to have another great start. The question is just, he had a great start. He had a freaking complete game, 1-run start against a Philly, and it was still a loser.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's tough to say, that's a wrong side loser.
Yes.
But it's going to happen. It's baseball.
Right.
You just got to win more than you lose.
What was the outlier result? Was the outlier result, Phillies run total, or was it Boston's run total? And that's basically an educated guess. All right, here, let me bring up a bunch of other series that I'm looking towards this upcoming week. First of all, as we know, Cleveland's offense has really started to pick it up, right? They're going into Baltimore, and Baltimore has had an awesome record at home, a very stark home road split, the second most profitable team at home in baseball, plus 29%. Cleveland's just plus 4% on the road. But again, they're picking it up recently. I think they have a bullpen edge here. I think they have a much better lineup, and they're facing a couple of tomato cans on Tuesday and Wednesday, Tillman and Gossman. And I'm thinking that at the very least, we want to look at Cleveland team total overs, and maybe also just taking Cleveland on the run lines, assuming that they're going to be a favorite. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I like it. And would you add in Tuesday's full game over 10.5, considering Tomlin's on the hill for Cleveland?
I don't know. See, that's the thing, is that Tomlin is actually Tomlin's another guy with high volatility, similar to Richard and those kinds of guys for different reasons, though. But Tomlin is another guy who he could easily throw a 9-inning 1-run game and have a low pitch count as well. So if I was going to take a shot with the over, I'd probably just stick with Cleveland on the team total over.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, so I'm definitely looking towards that for Cleveland's offense to continue doing well against Tillman and Gossman at the least on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then another series that's interesting is the Angels and the Yankees. Now, the Yankees, of course, went to the West Coast and got completely, dazed and confused by being out, at Oakland, at the Angels. They lost a bunch of games in a row. Now they come home and they're playing the Angels at home. Different situation. Not sure about the Tuesday game with Bridwell against Pineda. There's a lot of uncertainty there. But on Wednesday, they face Nolasco. Of course, the Yankees crush righties. Nolasco very vulnerable. Montgomery, you don't quite know what you're going to get, but I think it's a safe bet to assume that the Yankees hit Nolasco. And then on Thursday, they're probably going to be a huge favorite with Severino against Chavez, but maybe a favorite that's worth betting anyway, even at like minus 220 or something like that. Do you think the Yankees pick up their winning ways now back at home?
Pete, I would like to think so. That lineup, I really have it as a bet on lineup. But the Angels have really come together, especially their bullpen. It's kind of surprising, and with two of the top 5 bullpens in all of baseball going in this series, I'd actually start looking towards the under. I know it's kind of one of those things the market isn't always onto as far as bullpen performance in the total, but that's one way that I would look. I know it's tough in Yankee Stadium, but we're showing 9.5 just in tomorrow night's game, and that's with Birdwell on the hill. So going into Wednesday's game, I'm sure we'll get a total a little inflated as well.
Yeah, no, I would actually give the Angels a bullpen edge right now. I have this in my notes. I'd actually give the Angels a small bullpen edge right now over the Yankees. I just feel like against Nolasco on Wednesday and Chavez on Thursday, the Yankees bats are just gonna light it up. So I'm thinking maybe shots with the Yankees run line where the bullpen isn't likely to matter as much, and just with the Yankees team total over. All right, Drew Martin, I got another series interesting to me. That's Pittsburgh at Milwaukee. Now, Milwaukee, again, is another team that has a stark home road discrepancy. They've been much better on the road and not that great at home. They're roughly even at home. And Pittsburgh, I would give Pittsburgh right now a significant bullpen edge and maybe even a small lineup edge. And the pitching matchups for this series, especially on Tuesday and Wednesday, I think are washes. Cool against Davies are both very hittable and vulnerable. And Wednesday, Williams against Guerra is also they're also two pitchers who are starting pitchers who are kind of vulnerable. I would probably label Guerra as a little bit more vulnerable right now than Williams. Williams is definitely no great chase, but Guerra's having some serious control issues. Thursday's a little different. I don't really want to bet against Anderson from Milwaukee, but on Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm thinking Pittsburgh on the road might have some value. What do you think, Drew Martin?
Are you? Okay. Well, Pete, no, I kind of disagree with you.
Okay, let's hear why. Let's hear why.
Just respectfully disagree.
Yes.
I just think the Brewers' starting pitchers are very underrated in the market. I mean, we got Davies, you got Jimmy Nelson. You hit on a bunch of these guys, and I don't think they're getting the proper respect. I mean, Milwaukee at home, I know they've struggled at home. I don't think that's going to – I don't see a reason why that's going to continue, though. So that might be a buy low opportunity. But even tomorrow, I mean, minus 123 right now at Heritage. Versus Cool, who I'm looking to fade. And I think we get, the Milwaukee lineup, which is pretty sleeper as well, and the better bullpen. So only paying a $23 price tag. I actually kind of lean towards Milwaukee, Pete.
Really interesting. All right. Well, we will see. Again, I'm not counting the Thursday game here because definitely Chase Anderson, I agree, is a guy who I don't want to bet against. And in fact, I'm probably leaning towards Milwaukee on Thursday. But on Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm going to be leaning Pittsburgh just to win both games, and also Pittsburgh on the second halves in both of those games. We shall see how it turns out. Drew Martin, this is basically an official head-to-head opinion we've just hit on here, right?
Yeah, we got to keep track.
Oh, we'll keep track, Drew Martin. We'll keep track, Drew Martin. So you're leaning Milwaukee on Tuesday and Wednesday, and I'm leaning Pittsburgh on Tuesday and Wednesday. Is that correct?
That is correct. And why are you looking to go against Junior Guerrero?
I think he has some. He's a guy who was an old rookie. A guy who had a career resurgence later in life, and that's very impressive. But right now, I think he's having some serious control issues, and I think that I'm willing to bet that continues. And if it does, once again, I'm liking Pittsburgh in this series. If in that game, if Garrett once again has control issues, unless he figures out a way to miraculously make a turn here, which he might, but I'm willing to bet that he doesn't.
All right, so Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm the Brew Crew.
All right,
and,
we'll see. Right. Then the last series I want to bring up is just an interesting one. Arizona at Colorado. Of course, these are the two most profitable teams in all of baseball, right? Arizona plus 21% overall on the year, second only to Colorado plus 29%. Overall on the year, ROI, unbelievable. Both also top three teams in June. So both these teams have been great on the year, great recently. And, now Arizona's traveling all the way across country from Philly. And who's going to come out on top in this series? What do you think? Any opinions on this one?
I like Colorado here, Pete. I mean, but first we got to tip our caps to the NL West in general.
Yes.
I mean, it's really come out of it's like the old AL East, and it's become the best division in baseball. Both of these teams, like you said, very profitable for their backers, and it is a tough road trip though, going from Philly to Colorado, and playing in elevation. I'd actually hand it to Colorado.
All right, I'll tell you my thoughts on this one. First, on Tuesday, we have Greinke against Marquez, right? And that one, I think I would lean towards Arizona there. I'm expecting some regression from Marquez going forward, and I think Greinke is at this point, a reliable enough veteran that we can expect a decent start from him. So I'm expecting to like Arizona on Tuesday, and then Wednesday we have Taijuan Walker against this guy Hoffman, who's been excellent so far in his few starts this year. And on Wednesday, I think I'm going to go the other way and lean towards Colorado. Walker, of course, is coming back from a blister situation, and his first start back was good. But going into Colorado, there's lots of reasons to think that Walker might get hit, and I'm expecting maybe a bad start from Walker on Wednesday. And then Thursday, I haven't seen who the confirmed starters are, so I'm leaning Arizona Tuesday and then Colorado Wednesday. What do you think about that, Drew Martin?
Yeah, I like it, and I haven't gone out to the Wednesday and Thursday games to break it down. It is in Colorado, so their splits as far as how they've performed in Coors Field is something I highly take into account. So I haven't broken down Walker's number.
All right, and then let's just wrap this up by taking a look at two starting pitching assignments for Wednesday. Wednesday, Drew Martin, is Bartolo Colon Day, right? He is slated to come off the DL and start for Atlanta against San Francisco. The Giants, though, a terrible team, a bad offense. They're, according to my numbers, the single worst team in the majors against righties. I don't know how much that matters when they're facing Bartolo Colon, but it's at least worth noting. And then Samardzija, generally pitching very well. His last start was a bad one at Coors, which I think we can throw out. I don't know. There have been times when I've, shied away from fading Bartolo Colon and Bronson Arroyo Arroyo and other guys when I had other reasons to, and that wound up being a mistake. They wound up, even against weak lineups and pitcher-friendly parks or whatever, getting crushed as normal. Bartolo Colon Day on Wednesday. What do you think? Do you think we auto play the Giants there just because of Bartolo Colon?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Fade big sexy. It's very simple. Just don't fix it if it's not broken.
Right. Okay. And then another one that's interesting is Detroit and Seattle on Wednesday, because James Paxton, who of course was one of the most elite starters in baseball before he went on the DL, has not really been doing that well since his return. He's going up against Verlander, who's also been shaky, having control issues. But I think because of the names involved here, we might get a particularly low total, and both these guys might struggle a little bit. Maybe we look for an over in a very low total on Wednesday, Verlander against Paxton. What do you think, Drew Martin?
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I don't know, though. I was actually looking at this game pretty closely, and I'm thinking about back in Paxton in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
It will be interesting to see what the price is at. But, yeah, the Tigers on the road, I'm not too interested in. I'm kind of in the fade Verlander camp there.
Yes,
Pete,
I am as well. I'm just concerned you're not fazed by Paxton's struggles since he's come back, basically.
Yeah, I am. But still, I think he's got the talent, and I don't see he can turn it around. He's a veteran, but I don't know. You actually might be onto something. I would look over in Seattle.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the fade Verlander train with you in general. Not necessarily as an auto fade, but definitely vaguely looking that way going forward for sure. So we're in agreement there. Drew Martin. All right, Drew Martin. I guess we can wrap up this show. Is there anything else that you want to mention that we didn't get to before we wrap it up?
No, I think we're good. Maybe just Jose Barrios going on Wednesday, circling that one against the White Sox. You know, that White Sox lineup I'm not a big fan of, and I think he might be able to just kind of overpower them. So,
and they're particularly bad against righties as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, Minnesota on Wednesday I'm circling, and other than that, I'd just say go Brew Crew.
All right, the big news for this show, Drew Martin and I going head-to-head Tuesday and Wednesday. Drew Martin taking Milwaukee. I'm taking Pittsburgh. We'll see how it turns out. Thanks so much, Drew. Talk to you again very soon.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.